What's up, sports fans? Welcome to the first official K2 Sports video. Um, this is going to be our debut video, going to be on the YouTube channel. It's also going to be on Facebook, going to be available on Twitter as well. I'll tweet the link out and everything like that. Basically, what K2 Sports is going to be is it's going to be an extension of what some of you have already seen me do with Houston Preeminence. What you've seen me do, some other freelance writing and whatnot. K2 Sports will also be a podcast by the early part of 2019. Don't quote me on that. Still working out the details on that. But what I wanted to do is, while Houston Preeminence is taking a holiday break, you can catch me back in the mornings from 7 to 10, Monday through Friday, starting January 2nd. Big Sarge and myself will be back in the mornings for KTXF, Houston Preeminence Radio on the TuneIn Radio app. But wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of the huge game, Texans-Eagles tomorrow, 12 p.m. It's going to be in Philly. What we know today, and what's going to come out later in the week, Lamar Miller will be out. So top 10 rusher in the NFL, and the Texans' leading rusher will not play against the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday. Kiki QT is also out. Not a surprise there. He has had some bad luck with hamstrings, as have a lot of players on the Texans in the past couple of years. Texan fans, as a fan, you're probably having hamstring issues just reading all of this. Defensive end Brandon Dunn also ruled out. So you're going to see a lot of Christian Covington and not as much subbing as you've seen between Covington and Brandon Dunn over the season so far. And perhaps we're going to see the season debut of D'Onta Foreman. D'Onta Foreman's on the plane headed to Philly with the team. How much he'll play, that's the question Bill O'Brien has not particularly wanted to answer. So you definitely will see a start from Alfred Blue, who has been serviceable with Miller out. But I really think if D'Onta Foreman does play, he's going to be the key to the game. Obviously, you saw tons and tons of potential with Foreman last year, getting hurt. Actually, on a touchdown run last year, tearing his Achilles heel, which is a horrible injury to come back from in any professional sport. Most people know it from Kobe Bryant and effectively really ending Kobe Bryant's career in the NBA. A little different in football, especially at the running back position. A lot of cutting, a lot of moving upfield really quickly, change of position. But what I wanted to go over is this is a huge game. Obviously, the Texans are sitting at 10-4, and they're in complete control of the 2 seed in the AFC. And basically, if they win out, they have a first-round bye. If they lose and New England wins tomorrow, obviously New England would take back over control of the 2 seed and the first-round bye by way of a tiebreaker from the Week 1 matchup in Foxborough. So this is a must-win for the Texans. I don't think there's any games off because technically the Texans have not clinched yet. However, they can do that on Sunday easily with a win. They'll clinch the AFC South and guarantee a playoff spot. Now, obviously, the Eagles are playing for their playoff lives as well. Basically, the Eagles are in a win-out situation where they have to win out to possibly get in a spot to make the playoffs in the NFC. Now, obviously, Carson Wentz done for the year. Why anybody was concerned about that or thought that would impede the Eagles from playing decent football, obviously didn't watch last year, didn't watch Nick Foles and what he did in taking that team to the Super Bowl and beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So Nick Foles is a good quarterback. It's hard to sleep on Nick Foles after seeing what he did last year. And then obviously the comeback win they had over the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football last week. So the Texans defense has definitely got a formidable challenge in Nick Foles. You got playmakers, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz at the tight end position. I know a playmaking tight end is not something Texan fans are accustomed to. So Zach Ertz can hurt you down the field, down the middle of the field especially. Obviously, the keys to this game for the Texans, and the biggest one, and this is every week, and I've circled this on my notes and it's underlined. You guys can't see it, but it lets me know how serious it is and how upset it makes me. Protecting Deshaun Watson, protecting your franchise is the most important thing week in and week out. And I think if this Texans team does that, then obviously they're going to be the favorites in every game they go into. That's how bad this offensive line has been in. 52 sacks going into this game. It's the most in the NFL. Close second is the Dallas Cowboys at 51. And you're going against guys like Chris Long, Fletcher Cox, Michael Bennett, guys that can get after the quarterback. The Eagles have a very formidable front seven. They don't play the best defense in the league. Their secondary has been banged up, and this Eagles team has suffered injuries almost on the gargantuan level that this Texans team last year faced injuries. So their secondary has been very banged up. So you got to think that's a place where hopefully Bill O'Brien, Sean Ryan, that offensive staff has looked and seen where they can capitalize on some things and possibly take advantage of some things in the secondary with DeAndre Hopkins, with Demaryius Thomas, with DeAndre Carter, who had a big catch for 50-plus yards last week in the Meadowlands. So protecting Watson and letting him work is going to be a huge, huge impact on this game tomorrow in Philly. And we'll see. I'm not convinced Julian Davenport or Kendall Lamb can be efficient, productive tackles in the NFL. And anybody that says that out there that they are, I don't understand what film you're watching. I don't know what's going through your head. And whether you're some Twitter expert with 1,000 followers that think you're God, I just don't get it. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything like that. I'm going to tell you straight up, they're bad. Julian Davenport is 100% a liability against any half-decent edge rusher in the league. And I hope that doesn't come back to bite the Texans in the playoffs in the next month. Another big key to the game for me, Texans D needs to get after Nick Foles. The Eagles are not a great running team, and the Texans are really great at stopping the run. So you obviously want to stop the run early to where you're putting Nick Foles, while he can hurt you, if you're constantly rattling his brain, getting after him, and getting contact on the quarterback, Nick Foles is not a guy that I think performs under excellent pressure. I don't think he's somebody that if the Texans defense are constantly going after him, constantly throwing different blitz packages, I think it's something that's going to obviously work in the Texans' favor. I think the Texans defense is the best unit that's going to be on the field tomorrow. And now with putting pressure on Foles and shutting down the run game comes not getting beat on chunk plays. You saw that against the Jets. You saw they gave up big chunk plays to Darnold, and that's really the only Achilles heel of this defense is, no pun intended there to Deontay Foreman, but the only really Achilles heel of this defense is they give up chunk plays. And there's 31 other teams in the league that do it, but the Texans just seem to give up chunk plays when they're not supposed to give up chunk plays or when it's going to hurt them the most. So obviously containing Nick Foles, containing Darren Sproles, who is the master of chunk plays, who's the master of dink and dunk screens, turning them into 40-yard runs. So controlling Darren Sproles is another part of this Eagles offense you have to look out for. O'Brien, and plain and simple, Bill O'Brien needs to open up the playbook for Deshaun Watson. Every team in the league knows O'Brien loves to run first, run, and then maybe pass. You've seen him in past weeks open it up a little bit. You saw that game-winning drive against the New York Jets. He really put the ball in Deshaun Watson's hand. He even said, thank God he's our quarterback. All right, well, here's the thing, Bill. He is your quarterback. You're going into a big game against a good team on the road. Let your quarterback win this game for you. Draw plays up to make your quarterback successful. Because here's what Philly is going to do, and they're going to do what Greg Williams did in Cleveland, what Frank Reich did in Indy, and what the Jets did, Todd Bowles and the Jets did last week. They figured out this offense that you're running, this very vanilla offense. They're going to load guys in the box. They're going to rush defensive backs off the edge to get to those running backs. They're going to put pressure on this running game, and they're going to stifle the running game until you have no choice but to pass, and then they're just going to put their ears back, and they're going to get after Watson, and it's going to disrupt the whole offense. So I think it's really important to start this game. Don't wait until the third, fourth quarter. Really shake things up with Watson in the first quarter, the first drive of the game. Get the ball going, get the ball out of his hands quick, and let these Texans skill players, let Hopkins, Thomas, Carter, and Jordan Thomas and some of the tight ends, let them make plays early and get the ball moving down the field. And once you've imposed your will in the passing game, run. Okay, and obviously if Foreman's playing and you can get Foreman going early, that changes the game. But right now, myself or no one else, I know he's on the plane to Philly. I don't know that he's going to be a huge impact. He could run 2 or 3 times. He could not even get on the field. Obviously, something that's been big for the Texans in this 9-game win streak and in these last 10, 11 games is winning the turnover battle. So I think it's important they win the turnover battle. This defense is great at getting turnovers. More importantly, what stood out to me, not only getting the turnovers, but capitalizing on turnovers. So I'm not going to go out and say they have to win the turnover battle, but if you capitalize on more turnovers than the Philadelphia Eagles do, your team's already going to be sitting in a better position. So capitalize on turnovers is my next point. And obviously, hopefully it doesn't come down to this, but it seems like I've been saying that the last 3 weeks. Use Kaimi Fairbairn. He was 5 for 5 last week. It's hard to think this guy 3-4 weeks ago, people were wanting him gone and wanting kickers brought in for tryouts, and he's been money the last 3 weeks. I mean, so obviously you do not want it to go to a game of field goals, but Kaimi Fairbairn's been hot. So if you need to use him, and that's a good weapon for the Texans going into the playoffs. So obviously this game has a lot of ramifications, not only for the Texans but for the Eagles. The Eagles are playing for their playoff lives. They're a desperate team. The Texans cannot get complacent in this game. So my final prediction is I'm going to go Texans 28, Eagles 24. That's my final prediction. I know that's not including any field goals, so that's pretty bold for me saying the Texans are going to score 4 touchdowns. You know what? I just writing it down made it more real to me, and I'm going to go ahead and say 27-24 Texans. So I'll give you 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals from Kaimi Fairbairn. Thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of K2 Sports. A lot more is to come. 2019 is going to be a huge year for K2 Sports. Follow the Facebook page. Follow me on Twitter at KyleKelly56. And we'll also be showcasing a lot of great Houston preeminence talent, other great articles we got going here. Thank you so much for watching. A lot more to come tomorrow. Be tuned for an Astros update, Astros offseason update, and also what's going on around the rest of Major League Baseball. So let's see how everything shakes out. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Thank you for listening to the first episode of K2 Sports.